Hello everyone and welcome to Startched. I am your host, Bacon Jake Bradley. You might remember me as the man who interviewed high school football phenom Al Bundy after he scored his 4 touchdowns in a single game. And now I'm here to talk about the Cosplay Wrestling Federation with my co-host who's finally back from his trip,
Stevie! Mondo!
Now, I know a lot of you are expecting us to talk about SAC anime and its crazy blackout battles, but there's a lot to unpack in that 4-hour show. Speaking of unpacking, your luggage is still in my office.
Yep. I don't have any room in my room. I know that's double, triple inconvenient for you, and I'm sorry for that. No, actually, I'm not really sorry, but I'll move it out 2 weeks from now.
Ugh. And I thought the intern was bad.
Oh, good to have you back.
I wish I could say the same for you.
I know how you feel, but let's get the show going, right?
Right. Today we're going to talk about the blackout battle that was Crackdown.
Crack.
It was quite the matchups with 12 competitors, some of which were good. But we will get to them. However, first we need to talk about those who couldn't quite get to the second round.
And my goodness, was that a mess.
Yes, it proves once again, just like with Mag West, perhaps Matt Ishida is a bad choice for a host. Maybe he doesn't know what he's doing.
Oh my god, that guy's still alive?
I know, right?
Yeah, I thought he got buried at the third Cosmo about 2 years ago, and yet, here we are, he's still alive, and further shows that Matt Ishida is, quote me on this, trash.
I tend to agree. If you cannot host a show properly and keep it under control, that is a problem.
Let's get to the contestant that didn't quite make it, shall we?
We will begin with Tiger Millionaire, who I do appreciate that energy he had in the beginning. Then he seemed to get distracted by lights. Perhaps he is too much Tiger and not enough Millionaire.
Well, put it this way, he went from Tiger Millionaire to Tiger 50 Cent.
Oh, that is cold.
Not as cold as his delivery.
I agree, and it was sad, for someone like Tiger Millionaire should have been a straight runner directly to the finals. And yet, this Tiger don't run.
Kinda sad when a 10-year-old kid has more energy than this Tiger Millionaire with ukulele.
Our second competitor also had some energy issues.
Can we talk about the Jiraiya, or do we really have to talk about him? I don't like him. I wanna skip this. Whatever, your calls.
I had issues with his lack of energy and mumbling into the microphone at Mag West. And I have to hear it again. Why was he allowed back? Is he bribing Matt Ishida? Is he maybe in some sort of untoward relationship with Matt Ishida?
Blackmail!
No one knows. I do know that he should not have made it, and thankfully, at least, he stayed in the first round.
Listen, Jiraiya, let me tell you something, okay? I know who you're trying to be like. You're trying to be like the legendary Joey Ryan of the professional wrestling world, but guess what, son? You are not Joey freaking Ryan.
Agreed, there is only one Joey Ryan.
Damn right! And also, you're a sex offender.
Which might just be the worst gimmick in wrestling ever.
Oh boy, where do I begin? But anyways, let's move on to the next one, shall we?
Yes, and that was Killer T-Cell. I felt that he had a great idea. I think they do need to clean up some people in the CWF. But you gotta have more than a mop if you're gonna try to win at the CWF.
Wait, that was a really contestant? I thought that was just some janitor walking into the arena like, lost puppy or something. That was a real contestant? Oh, wow!
Yes, well, I do believe in you, sir, and your quest to clean up the CWF. Next time, bring some fire, bring the heat, and bring down the roof.
You know there's a term called kill it with fire, right?
Yes, but I was just talking metaphorically, of course.
I don't think this guy knows what metaphor means because that's his delivery sounds like. He did not have much direction, and if you tell him to bring a flamethrower, careful, he just might.
Right, so remember, look up what metaphor means, Killer T-Cell, and then re-listen to my words, and then do
your best.
Do your best.
There you go.
Next up is Arthur, King of the Britons. He came in riding his coconuts like a true king, and left riding his coconuts like some sort of comedian dressed up like King Arthur making a movie in the 70s.
I would like it better if this King Arthur was blonde, female, and probably in armor. I would also accept the alter version. However, this King Arthur had an idea. This King Arthur had something going, but as we all know, in CWF, ideas alone don't make you last long.
This is true. You need a bit more than just ideas. You need a follow-through. It felt like he didn't really have an angle planned other than he's a king.
I mean, listen, it was cute, bringing out the one true king sword, which is Saber's sword. That's fine and dandy. But listen, if you're bringing a Saber sword like that, might as well just be Saber. You know what I'm saying?
It would be more crowd-pleasing.
Yeah, especially if you have the chef. What's his name, Cheryl? Yeah.
Yes, that would be a fun combination to see up on stage at the CWF.
Oh, nonetheless, this Monty Python happened and just gallops away like a king.
I'm not sure if we will ever see him again, but maybe if we do, he will come more prepared for battle.
Bring the grenade. You know how that works.
According to this piece of paper I've been given, there was another contestant called Ebony Darkness something or other. I don't know.
It's kind of tough to read when all the letters are smudged.
Yes. Perhaps I shouldn't be given a crinkled piece of paper next time, but...
Oh, especially the one that, somebody threw through the window attached to the brick.
I can only assume the person this note is about was that young lady who got lost and stumbled into the CWF competition accidentally.
Or, hear me out, maybe it's this conspiratorial plan from Mad freaking Ishida, who just wants to throw us all off, including you and me, talking about her and distracting us from the finale.
This is also a possibility. We don't know what this Ebony lady's deal was, but we do know we are very confused by it.
Hey Matt, you suck!
And yes, it probably is Matt Ishida's fault. So now we can finally move on to the second round, which had 7 competitors, which is a bit excessive in my book.
Yeah, that's 7 too many.
Wow, someone did not like this show, but that someone was not me. It is someone else in this room.
Oh, gee, I wonder. Hey, ghost in the room. Maybe he's talking about you.
First person in this group we will talk about is Dick Gumshoe, who finally got the chance to give a good promo after being brutally attacked by the evil maniac Heather Mason.
Now he's an angry Dick.
Indeed, talking about how he has decided that no one is his pal except the CWF universe. Not a bad angle, if I do say so myself, especially for a police officer who deserves respect for the great detective work he's done over the years.
Yeah, because apparently Dick Gumshoe has never heard of something called Discord.
But I feel that being a detective, being everyone's pal, is not what a champion is made of. What a champion is made of is stronger things, and Dick Gumshoe, next time, bring that inner strength that I know lies within your heart.
Yeah, be a dick, buddy.
Another person who made it into the finals was Navi, who put on a much better performance than she did over at Mag West. I really like the idea of wanting to teach people proper rules and etiquette. As we know, many CW fans can get a bit rowdy. Keeping the fans under control is very important, and I think Navi got her point across very well.
What Wait, what point? I'm sorry. I couldn't hear her over the sound of my ears starting to bleed and this incantation of unknown source just whispering in my voice. No.
Hey, listen.
No!
Very well, we will move on.
I wish I could say more, but again, I will probably send that little, glowing ball of annoyance my medical bill for bleeding ears.
Or you could clean up that blood with some OxyClean, as presented by our next competitor, Billy Mays.
Do you realize how unsafe that is?
I'm sure it is probably very dangerous. I do not recommend that. Kids, do not try that at home.
But, yes, Billy Mays, your favorite TV commercial person of the personalities.
Yes, he tried selling himself, but I think he sold himself a little too short, because he couldn't make it to the finals. For a salesman is not what a champion is made of. But Billy, we believe in you. At least I do, unlike certain people who seem to dislike everyone in the show.
Hey, it's not my fault if he actually cleaned himself too soon out of the competition.
Indeed, that was his own mistake.
Yeah. So next time, instead of the partial planned payment, Billy, you should pay full price, all in, immediately, no?
I think it's time for us to talk about Winter Soldier, a person who won over the audience back at Phantomania, but here decided to act like some sort of psychotic assassin. He threatened Matashita, and while I do not like Matashita, you do not threaten the leadership of any event, no matter how terrible of a job they do. And he did it multiple times. Who'll even let this maniac into the CWF? In fact, I hope he is kicked out for that kind of behavior. That's behavior befitting of Heather Mason. Who would ever want to behave like that?
Oh man, I would love to behave like... excuse me. Listen, Winter Soldier, threatening that trash Matt Ishida. That was a fine move. I approve. You gotta have guts to be the champion. But here's where the issue comes in. Winter Soldier didn't follow through. It was all talk, how should I put it? His knife was there, but it was dull. It was a dull knife, and Winter Soldier, let me tell you something. If you don't want to follow through to your threat, don't even bother doing it at the beginning. Wuss.
Ouch! Be careful, he might come after you next.
I don't care. Come at me, bro.
I think we'll lighten the mood with someone who is also a confusing entry into the second round, Isabel.
Yeah, just as confusing entry as Smash Bros. Ultimate.
Agreed.
I mean, goodness, she's not even an Echo Fighter, but she plays like an Echo Fighter. How more confusing can you get?
How about trying to be an accountant who's decided for some reason she needs to enter the CWF? At least when Erwin R. Shyster came into the WWF, he was ready to throw down.
Oh, he was also Ted DiBiase's bitch, but that's another story.
That is another story.
But let me tell you something, Isabel. Okay, if you're listening, okay? I know you don't get a lot of practice because you have to be the stand-in mayor and now you have to practice Smash and etc, etc, etc. That's fine. But just go all out, my child. You have nothing to lose at this point. So you're gonna bring all your accounting skills, use them wisely.
The first person to make it to the finals was one of my favorites from Mag West. The person who got robbed at Mag West. Yes, I'm talking about the one, the only, the Interpol superstar, Chun-Li.
Also the low tier in Street Fighter, but that's a whole nother story.
She came in ready to take on every competitor, to prove that she is the strongest woman in the world, and stronger than most of the men on that stage. And she did a great job getting the audience worked up, showing that she won't take any guff from Matt Ishida or anyone else. She was a champion in my heart, even though she didn't win this championship either.
Now, this is interesting because Chun-Li did flex her thunder thighs, let the world know what she was all about. But the wee little finale happened, which we'll get to later, where, oh my goodness, this is Evil Moment 37 all over again.
Will people even get that reference?
Yes, they will. Once I mention Daigo and Justin Wong, they will.
Which means we need to move on to the champion, the other person to make it to the finals, Tommy Wiseau, a man who I believe probably isn't actually from New Orleans.
Oh, I'm pretty sure he's from, like, different planet at this point.
That is possible. He came in with some odd mannerisms that won over the audience. In fact, I shouldn't even say that. Something about this man's presence got the audience to hype themselves up. That is a rare trait that very few champions have. Most of them need to fire up the audience. But in this case, it almost was like he got more fired up as the audience got more fired up. In a bizarre, weird, backward circle of firing up.
I'm not sure how to describe it because this man was just being himself, being his oddball, chill type of character, and everyone knows what that's about because, as we all know, The Room is a cult hit and his disaster movie came out. At this point, everyone knows who Tommy Wiseau is, and at this point, at the same time, no need for explanation, if you know what I mean.
Agreed. He is quite the ubiquitous star. More interestingly is to think, will he take this star power and try to conquer Phantomania, or SAC Anime, or any number of other events? How many championships will this Wiseau person actually get?
That's a good question, and that's the answer that only Tommy Wiseau himself can answer, and I'm pretty sure the answer is insurmountable amount of gibberish.
I will agree on that one, because the way he defeated Chun-Li was through not brute force, not sharp wit, but instead psychology.
I'll be honest with you, when I saw that, I could not believe my eyes, ears, and my brain. Did that really happen?
While there is a phrase we sometimes say, the psychology of wrestling, that was not exactly what we meant. Perhaps he took the concept of psychology of wrestling a little too literally.
Or, let me tell you a little story, okay? I'm sure we all know this. Eddie Guerrero, the late legendary pro wrestler, one time took the chair and he was about to hit his opponent, but instead he slammed it on the floor and then tossed the chair into the opponent and fell onto the floor, just fainting, getting hit by the chair and disqualifying his opponent. I feel like that's what happened here.
Yes, it's one of those bizarre type of endings that feels like even the judges were a little bit confused at the end of this match.
I mean, I think everyone was confused, but once they realized what happened, then the entire arena just erupted because this was, in the CW's history, absolutely unheard of.
Indeed, and it'd be interesting to see what would happen if Tommy Wiseau was taking on one of our belted champions.
Oh no, I don't think Franziska von Karma would fall for that. She's a lawyer, right?
She is.
Yeah, lawyers are not gonna fall for this, no.
Indeed. So, perhaps Tommy Wiseau should know where he needs to stand and where he may fall if he tries to take on a belted champion. Be aware, Mr. Wiseau, one victory does not mean you are a legend of the ring.
It just means... Oh, hi Mark. Anyways...
I don't even get that joke.
Oh, don't worry. You will. Someday.
And that about wraps up all our competitors from Crackdown. And I will say this, it was a mixed bag.
Oh man, what a story, huh?
You keep saying weird things for some reason, and I do not get them. But that's fine. Act weird, Stevie.
Oh, okay, whatever, old man, grandpa.
The sad part is, we will never have another Crackdown event. And that breaks my heart. However, with a memorable ending like this, I'm not sure how they would follow it up. This did not end with some sort of big tag team grudge match throwdown. It did not end with a street fight. It did not end with a hardcore match. It ended with such a bizarre finale that it feels like it was destined to happen at the final event of Crackdown.
Well, the event is called Crackdown, and sure enough, it did crack us down.
This is true. And I will say, thank you, Lashada, and thank you, all you competitors.
Except Madishida.
Who gave us such a wonderful show. And Lashada, if you're listening to me, I would recommend firing Matt as soon as possible to save face, because the company deserves a better host than him.
Well, that about does it, no?
Yes, that wraps this one up. But don't worry, we will be talking about SAC Anime once someone gets his luggage out of my office.
I'm sorry, who?
Someone here. Or I'll have to call the intern to do it for you.
Well, you can do that too.
Either way, thank you for joining us here at Startched. And remember, check out the CWF network on Twitch to see all the wild matches you may have missed.
Well, that said, I'm gonna be over there pouring 40 for my deceased homie called Crackdown.
And I'm going to call Isabel to take care of my taxes.
You pay taxes?
Yes, unlike some people, I have a job.
You have a job?
Ugh. Until next time, keep it sizzling, because